If you're anything like me, you spent much of your time scouring Lord of the Rings maps when you were a kid, maps that Tolkien wrote and that others took over after him to complete his works. In this episode, I'm going to be talking a little bit about why I'm making my own maps for my epic fantasy novels, just like Tolkien did for his. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode. My name is Alex Shagir, and I am an epic fantasy writer. I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite things in epic fantasy, and that is maps. Now, I kind of said in my little intro there that Tolkien wrote his own maps. I assume every epic fantasy writer has written their own maps or drawn their own maps. And I know that people have taken up the mantle after Tolkien made his maps, a little bit more maybe elegant, a little bit more readable, expanded on it. Um, but he's always the first one that comes to mind when I think about fantasy maps. I think it's because he's the first one that I just remember memorizing. Middle Earth, I played the Risk game, and then also just looking at the map in the Lord of the Rings books, just everything surrounding Lord of the Rings. That was one facet that really brought me into it. I think it's probably because too I liked maps as a kid, looking at like the atlas. I grew up in Maine, and so looking at like different like camping spots and the roads up there, and it was just, I was always drawn to maps to begin with, so I think looking at, the Lord of the Rings maps and then future fantasy books, in their maps, I really gravitated towards that because it gave it a sense of, realism. So anyway, in this episode, I'm gonna be talking, yeah, a little bit, about that. Kinda touched already on the first point, why I'm making my own maps for my fantasy book. Not just making them, like I alluded to, every fantasy author kinda makes their own maps, but I'm actually gonna be drawing my own maps, and what I draw is gonna be used in my books. So I already touched on it a little bit, but my love of map making, it's one of my passions. Obviously, writing epic fantasy is a passion of mine as well, but going along with that is my love for map making, looking at maps and bringing it to life how I want to. And so I want my final product, my final epic fantasy novels and series to also contain that love of maps that I have. Yes, I could go out and have someone draw it for me in their own professional way. There's a couple really great artists that I've considered doing that, or cartographers, however, whatever you want to call them. I guess kind of the same thing in this realm. But I just love making my own maps, and I want it to be a part of my book for that love. But there's also a few other reasons. So the second reason is because I personally like seeing my world come to life that way. I enjoy sitting down and not just making a sketch, handing it off to someone and seeing what they come up with, and then going back to ideas. I do that with my cover art for my book, just because I am not an artist in that way, and so much better to hand that off for sure. Jeff Brown did the cover art for my book, which is fantastic. Excited to use them again in the future. Um, but yeah, when it comes to, my maps, I like seeing the process come to life with my hands involved with it, right? So I like being able to see the mountains, stand up from the page, if you will. I like seeing the cities, scattered across the map, and I just like seeing, my vision come to life before me rather than giving my ideas to someone or drawing a sketch and handing it off to them. So I like seeing that realism come to life, in real time as I'm writing it. The third reason is for creativity. I think it's an excellent way to expand the creativeness of the mind, just doing an aspect of that. I kind of grew up being encouraged to expand my creativity. I was never put down for writing or anything like that, but I also was kind of under the impression that one had to be extremely skilled or naturally talented or gifted to be able to have a creative, artsy side to them. And I know some people are more inclined to that than others. I totally get that. Uh, but one of my outlets, aside from my writing, for my creativity, is my map making. It's how I really expand my mind, how I get my creativeness out, and I can see it come to life. It's the artsy side of me, if you will. And so being able to put my mind to that task, being able to express myself in that way, is a great form of getting that creativity out of me and creating something from scratch and bringing it to life for myself to enjoy and for others to enjoy. So that's a really important part of it for me. Again, just another reason why I'm drawing my own maps. The last one, and I think it's probably the most important and relevant to you, the readers, and it's definitely important to me as well, is the maps I'm making tie into the lore for my books. Um, I'm not gonna give anything away here. I probably shouldn't even talk any more about it, but, my maps certainly, and it's nothing original that people haven't done before, but, the way I'm doing it and the way I think things come about, everyone will be very pleasantly, happy as they read through my books. They can kinda pick out, make some connections with the map making. With that said, those are the reasons why I'm making my own maps. Just because I have a love for it. I like seeing my world come to life. I think it's a great creative expression for myself. It's a way I kind of get out that art side of me that I really can't in any other aspect of my life except for my writing. And then the lore piece. I think it's very fundamental to the books that I'm writing and the story that I'm trying to tell in my epic fantasy setting. So those are all the reasons that I'm making my maps for my book, and I'm also going to be making a map series coming up here pretty soon. I'm excited. I'm actually going to sit down in one setting, make the map for my first book, in real time, and I'm going to be commenting on it. It'll be out there for YouTube, so I'm hoping to have that up there in another couple weeks. And I really hope you enjoy watching that. I'm really excited to kind of show you my process for writing my maps. Well, that's it. Thank you for watching this episode. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Definitely give this video a like, comment. Any way that you can get involved is greatly appreciated. It very helps me to get out there on YouTube, helps people to see these videos and yeah, and end up reading my books and enjoy them. So thank you for your support. Very much appreciated, and I will see you next time.